What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome to some Stardew Valley. This has been a bit of a passion project for me on Twitch over the last several weeks, really ever since Stardew Update 1.5 hit, and this is my beach farm, the newest beach map, on day 7 of fall, year 4. Let's hop in and check it out. Now, I didn't do a whole lot of interior design quite yet. You see, I've got two lovely little children, and those came courtesy of Abigail, which we'll hunt her down in just one moment. We do have a lovely little aquarium room. We've got the kids' room and all of the house expansions here. Now, as far as the house goes, I did unlock everything, so I've got all the expansion rooms. I've done some decorating, but not much. And, of course, have the basement. I still have to get the casks in the basement lined up properly. I'm missing a few rows of casks, so a little bit of a missed opportunity down there on the wine. Now heading outside, there is Abigail, and she is ready to start the day. Let's take a run through the base setup of the map here. Basically, being the beach farm, we know that you can't use sprinklers on sand, which means it was a massive watering project, and there's a very limited amount of growing space. Now, or growing space that you can automate, I should say. Now, what that means is the best bet was without a doubt going with some massive animals, which we'll get into with one moment. Now, this upper section of the entire area is just kind of my workstation. I've got a wine brewing room over here. Every one of these is brewing up the ancient fruit wine. This grow area here, or this work area here, is dedicated to making preserves and also mayo. So ancient fruit there, and ostrich mayo of all things. This is kind of a miscellaneous workroom with lots of different stuff in it. I've got the looms, the cheese presses. I actually haven't been using them, to be honest with you. A line of forges, some charcoal kilns that I haven't been using, bait and recyclers as well. Now, I'm making diamonds here, rubies, and amethysts. Now, I'm making diamonds just because they're diamonds. You can use them in many ways throughout the game. I'm making the amethyst for Abigail to keep her happy, and the rubies are for turning in out at the Desert Trader for some spicy eel. Moving on over to this back section, we've got 3 of our totems up here: the beach, the island, and the desert. The mountain I don't use as frequently, so I tucked it over here out of the way. Now, in front of that, of course, we've got our statues lined up and just some storage. Now, I've got to come clean here on this clock area. When I was originally kind of thinking the map design out, or how I wanted the farm laid out, I had it in my head that the gold clock was 4 tiles wide. It's actually obviously only 3 tiles wide, so we ended up with a little bit of messy symmetry here. I threw this golden column in right next to it in hopes of sprucing it up and making it look a little bit more even. Over here we've got another wine cellar, so since we do have limited crop, we are turning it all into wine. Now, everything that's left over after we make the wine is going into the preserves. So wine first, preserves second. This is a seed making room that I didn't end up using near as much on my main farm. On my main farm, of course, I've got 1,200 plus ancient fruit, and here I just don't have anywhere near that amount. Now, we do have a nice, lovely little row of fruit trees here, and just below that, we've got ourselves a little hardwood garden. So these are the new hardwood trees that you can grow, and you never know when you're going to need some new hardwood. So I put in a little garden of them right there. Now you hear the Junimos going ham there. Let's take a quick peek into the greenhouse. Once again, not optimized as far as the trees go, but I did fill it with ancient fruit, and I have been harvesting that quite regularly for a couple of years in game now. Directly below, we've got some fishing ponds. These I'm not really using. They're more just to have them here, I think. I think the sturgeon looked cool, so I went with sturgeon. Obviously, the lava eel is probably one of the hardest fish in the game to catch, so I went lava eels in one of them. It's still filling up. I went albacore in another one, once again, just because they look cool. I'm not really taking advantage of trying to monetize these at all. They're just for my enjoyment. Here we've got the blue discus, which actually is probably the worst out of all of these as far as getting some sort of gold return, but the fish look super cool, so yeah, we're going to have blue discus, and then an octopus pond all the way over here. The octopus as well, kind of difficult to check, or difficult to catch. Now, for this farmable area, of course this is the only area on the farm that you can automate with Junimos and sprinklers. Now, there's another problem. You could do this whole area with one Junimo hut if you put it right in the middle, but then you're going to lose out on all that crop. And once you get to the point of getting Junimo huts in, getting another one in is pretty darn easy. So I went with 4. Now, you can't go with 2, because if you go with 1 here and 1 below, then there's going to be area missing on the outsides of both. If you take that the other way and you go 1 Junimo hut over here and then another Junimo hut over all the way on the far side, then you've got a large area in the middle that is not being harvested as well. So it's terribly, the double coverage is absolutely horrible, but I've got 4 Junimo huts here. Another thing here is I had to place the Junimo huts out a little bit wide, because remember, if you have the opening of the Junimo hut is blocked, so if I move this over to say where the scarecrow is, the Junimos can't get out of the hut, so they're not going to be able to assist in your harvesting. Down below, we've got our little duck, chicken, bunny, and void chicken hollow. We've also got all of our silos stacked down in this area. Now, I've got 2 different coops. I've got one that's full up with all of the chickens and the ducks. And then we've got another one over here that actually only has 4 rabbits in it right now, but we are keeping rabbits in this one. I've got another coop that was kind of made that I put down here. This is going to be for golden chickens if I ever get to that point in the game to unlock them. I'm not sure if I will on this playthrough or not, but we do have a coop down there ready to go if we decide to get those unlocked. Now, taking a look at the rest of the farm animals, the gray barns are, you guessed it, ostriches. Ostriches, I gotta tell you, I had high hopes for them. They're not super profitable compared to pigs, particularly. Pigs are just gonna wreck it and make a lot more money, but I do have four full barns of ostriches right here in this area. Now, coming down into this row, all of these red barns are all pigs. So we've got 2, 4, 5, 6 barns full of pigs. That bronze barn is mixed, and it's mixed to contain all of the other animals. So I've got 4 cows, 4 sheep, 4 goats over in that one. Now, down here below, you saw the keg rooms. Well, I had to put in a massive tree area, plus I had to litter the town with tappers all over the place, as you're just going to need about a bazillion oak resin to make all of those kegs. Every keg requires 1 oak resin. The other materials you can buy, so those aren't a big deal, but the oak resin is the grind as far as putting together keg rooms. So I have just a ton of oak trees all down here with tappers on them for that exact situation. Let's go ahead and open these up and let these guys out. Now, I originally had it in mind to have a large kind of open area for the ostriches to just run around and do their thing. Now, they actually don't want to come out now because it is too dang early in the day. But these are absolutely awesome looking animals that sadly are just not super profitable. So let's go ahead and open up all of the barns and we'll take a look at what kind of chaos this is in the morning. Now, a lot of this grass I have down here is just for aesthetics. It is going to get devoured almost instantly. I've been going through like twice a season with about 300 grass starters, 2 different times through the season, and replanting grass just to get a little bit more out there. But feeding all these animals is the real deal, no doubt. So let's go ahead and start a fresh day and unleash the horde, which is this massive amount of livestock. And here we go. It is Ostrich City, no doubt, as there is just ostriches all over the place. There's 48 ostriches here. We'll get into the economic math here in a bit, but with these 48 ostriches, you're going to get 1 ostrich egg per week from each of them. In addition there, we've got just massive amounts of truffle action. I have actually completely ignored all of the milk and all of the wool and all of the chicken eggs and everything else, and all I usually focus on is just the truffles, the crops, and the ostrich eggs. So I'm turning those ostrich eggs into mayo. Got to go out and get that piggy lovin' in every morning, though, to keep these truffle hunters hunting, and they do an amazing job. Having this 6 barns full of pigs is generating roughly about 175 truffles per day. So they are out there in force, there's no doubt about it. Let's take a run over and take a look at the island farm. Now, the island farm, of course, I was very concerned with its productivity, as we just don't have much room back on our main farm for crops. So I went a little bit overboard here on the island farm. I completely filled it with ancient fruit, and I took that one step further, and actually every farmable tile on the main area here is covered. So we got a little bit of a sketchy line down here at the bottom, but it was just to maximize the crop placement. Had to use some weird sprinkler placements in various areas, and then I expanded over across the river over into this little area. Now, besides just decking them out right along here, I also came over to this spot. Of course, I had to use a sprinkler attachment to get all of that one watered, and then down to this spot as well. So just trying to maximize the amount of ancient fruit I get on every single harvest. Now, taking a quick look at economics. Now, first things first, the crops are on a 7-day cycle, so the crops that are in the greenhouse and over on the island are going to bear fruit every 7 days. Additionally, the wine is on a 7-day cycle as well, and the wine and the ancient fruit are timed together, meaning the wine pops the day the ancient fruit pops, so I've always got a fresh supply of fruit to go back around and plant another barrel of wine in. Now, I mentioned the truffles already. You're averaging about 175 truffles per day. At 1,250 gold per truffle, this comes out to about 218,000 gold per day and just over 6.1 million gold per month. After I harvest the ancient fruit, I save all of the plain ancient fruit, any of the silver star or the gold star ancient fruit. I'm going to go ahead and just sell right in the bin. Now, all of the non-starred or plain ancient fruit are going into the winemaking and into the preserves. So I prioritize the winemaking, and then as a secondary priority, I go with the preserves. So each time I harvest, or one time a week, I'm earning about 490,000 gold from the silver and gold star ancient fruit. That comes out to just under 2 million gold per month. In addition to that, the preserves and the jelly is popping every 3 days. Each time it's 1,610 gold, and I'm getting about 107 every 3 days. It's actually 108 in there, but surprisingly enough, I miss one just about every cycle, and it's normally 107. Now, 107 gold, of course, or 107 jellies times 1,600 gold is 172,000 every 3 days, or just over 1.5 million per month. The wine is generating 257 bottles every single harvest. Now, this means once per week, we've got the 257 bottles that sell for 2,310 gold each, which brings that up to about 593,000 gold per week just from the wine. This comes out to just under 2.4 million gold per month. And then the mayo. Of course, the ostriches are laying eggs. I had hopes to not have any pigs on this farm and make it a big old ostrich farm. However, the ostriches only lay an egg once every 7 days. Now, this means that, our eggs, of course, are coming at varying quality still. They're not all iridium quality eggs. And the mayo is generating roughly about 210,000 per week. And I'm going through once a week and looting the eggs and doing all the mayo in one day. So the mayo only takes a few in-game hours to cycle, so getting it all done in one day makes it so it's a little less of a tedious chore and frees up lots of time for me to do other things. Now, this is really the main economics I've been using on the farm. Obviously, there's ducks, there's chickens, there's rabbits, there's cows, goats, and sheep that I'm completely ignoring and just letting the collectors fill up with all of their materials. They would be additional gold earning, but just with what I'm doing right now, I'm coming in just under about 13 million gold per month. Now, obviously, through the building process, a lot of this, you can very easily spend that gold. No doubt about it. However, that is what this farm is generating. So it's been super fun. This map is awesome. It's not near the generator that my main, or my first Stardew playthrough save is on the default map, as that one has got literally 1,000 plus ancient fruit growing on it and just really wrecking out the profits. But hopefully you all enjoyed my take on the Stardew 1.5 beach map design. This is what I did, and I loved it. It was so fun getting through the game and getting up to this point. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to click that like button. Please subscribe. Check out more Stardew 1.5 content on my channel right up in that playlist above. And I will see ya next time around. Thanks again, y'all.